Robinson, I'm the sales manager at Stork Machinery. I wanted to take some time out today to tell you about our engine pump stations. So, okay, where do I start? So I'm going to start with the base. So if you look, the backbone of the machine really is its base here. It's a 600 litre base unit, and it's also acting as our fuel tank. In that we've got two baffles to stop the diesel swishing and swashing about. We've got some heavy duty forklift pockets. We've also got on it a number of mounting points. So if you come right here, you can see we've got a plate here with bolt holes on. So if you want to make the unit into a trailed unit, we can bolt a drawbar on here, and we can put an axle on, we can put mud guards on, and we can put lights on. So it's a pretty diverse base that we're working with. You can see there, lockable diesel cap. It's slightly bored in, so what we've got is a cradle. So should our engine oil or should we have a problem, basically it's all bunded and the oil's sitting there. So to empty that, we've got a drain plug here, and to clean the engine out, because obviously access is a bit difficult, we've got a plug there to undo that and to service our engine. This is our bog standard spec, so it's pretty simple. We've got the galvanised roof and the side struts there. Our stock machines are fully enclosed with tin sheets at the side. What we're trying to do is keep the slurry a bit more away from the engine and the workings. Okay, engine wise, we've got a 175 horsepower FPT engine, a really reliable engine, fitted on an awful lot of tractors, whether that's Case, New Holland, Class. The engine is what it is. It's a good workhorse, and most of you know it's a nice mechanical engine. And horsepower wise, 175 horsepower, is it enough? It seems to be from our point of view. You've got a direct drive straight through. But with a tractor, you've got transmissions, you've got all sorts of bits and pieces that engine's looking after. With this setup, straight drive through to our pump. It's one of the reasons they're really, really efficient in terms of using that horsepower. If you were pumping with an umbilical system, often 175 to 200 is what you're looking for as a base. This is again really efficient, so 175 as far as I'm concerned is plenty. Pump wise, this one's on a Bauer, as you can see. We'll do Bauer or we'll do Dorder, your choice basically. We tend to stock a bit of both, so that covers that end. It's not the same, and we often get asked, is it the same as the tractor unit? No, it's not. The pumps are specifically for engine driven pump sets, and the main reason for that is the actual shaft drive here is going to get up to 2000 RPM, and obviously on the back of your tractor it's 1000 RPM, so the gearing is different. We've got the primary unit here, and it's the same setup as we use on our tractor driven pumps, in terms of you've got a Hertel B500 vacuum pump, really, really reliable. I've talked before about the vacuum bottles that contain the oil that do not condense and don't snap off, as with the normal Dorder ones. Little 5 horsepower video engine, and petrol engine, and that acts as your priming unit, obviously. Now, a lot of guys will say I don't want to use petrol. Well, if you want to use a hydraulic primer and connect that to the tractor to prime it for a start, no problem with me, or we do a Venturi option which comes straight off the top. Once you've primed that, so let's move on to the pipework side of things. Now, whether you've got a Dorder or a Bauer, the pipework system is generally the same. All galvanised with a 6-inch Bauer female intake there. If you want to go for an 8-inch, it's there as an option, but that pipe takes a bit of handling when it's an 8-inch. So into there, and once we've got it in the pump, we've got one-way valve here to stop slurry coming back through the pump. If we're working up a hill, it stops us having problems with the pump going backwards and putting pressure on the engine. Down into the 3-way valve, and as a normal, once you've primed that pump, it's heading back to the tank here, or lagoon, and the revs are low. I'm in my tractor in the field with my applicator, so now I want the slurry. I press a button, automatically using this actuator, the 3-way valve will change, slurry will not go back to tank, it will come to my field line, and the engine will rev itself up to wherever I've preset that engine at. A couple of things to note while I'm here. We've got here a pressure sensor, and the pressure sensor on the pump is as standard on our machine. And we've then also got, so yeah, you can see that around here. You've also then got the sponge chamber for afterwards, so potentially we can also connect that up to a compressor, and if you want to, you can control that compressor remotely. One-way valve here to stop slurry going back to the compressor, and we can blow our pipes out after we've finished, again remotely. and if you really want to, you can put a sponge in there as well. So that gives you a bit of a summary on the pipework side of things. I'll take you now round to the control side. Okay, so let's talk about the remote control units. As I said before, 90% of what we're selling is remote control. The benefit of the remote control is potentially you're eliminating a man. And a man sat on a pump falling asleep or watching his iPod or whatever. So this man, he can be used elsewhere as you're working on its own. So we work with either the Mayer on our stock units or work with a SIL unit. But both in theory do exactly the same thing. So let me talk you through what you're going to do. Potentially you can now remotely press start button and the engine will start. You press the button, it'll count slowly to about 5, the alarm here will go and there'll be an audible alarm that will tell you the engine's about to start. The engine will start and then there'll be an idle period while that engine warms up. Once that's done, you basically remotely control that engine, so you can rev the engine up, you can rev the engine down. And that's worked by this actuator here, and you can change the direction of the slurry from return to tank through that three-way valve we talked about a minute ago, or to field. Okay, so normal operating, I'm now pumping, so I primed it and I now want to send slurry, so I press the feed button, actuator moves, engine revs up and the slurry's coming at me. The pressure sensor's telling me where this engine's operating at, and that will tell me that from my applicator tractor now on my remote control. And I can see the slurry coming and everything's happy. Okay, so let's say I get to the headland and now I want to slow the slurry down or potentially stop the slurry. I press the button in the cab, the actuator over there sends the slurry back to the lagoon, and at the same time it's dipping the engine revs. I close my valve on my dribble bar or trailing shoe, turn round, and as I'm turning I press the button again to reopen it, and guess what, it revs the engine up, and so it takes it back from the lagoon to feed to the field. So pretty simple, and it gives you an awful lot of control. It will also monitor my coolant temperature on my engine and my oil pressure, so if any problems with that engine, it will shut the unit down and it will stop any problems from there. It's done by a radio, so really simple. Radius is around about 5 kilometers, and the handheld that's in your applicator tractor, that potentially is also can be unplugged from your cigarette lighter, and that can be used in your rear TV if you want to check some pipes and still retain control. So really flexible unit with the Mayer, and the SIL's not dissimilar in terms of its functionality either. So two really good systems. If you want to keep it bog standard and basic, we do what we call a simple contractor version rather than the contractor flush version, and on that you have a single pipe that comes off with a one-way valve and basically a power output, so dead simple, but you need an operator here to control that. So yeah, that's a summary